Today we're into Modern to play some monstrous balls. So here is our Ball Lightnings or Monstrous Balls deck for Modern. And the idea of this deck is hilarious. We are built around a very iconic but not especially good Magic card in Ball Lightning. So Ball Lightning, a triple red mana 6/1 trample haster that sacks itself at the end of turn. So Ball Lightning, we know it's not really good enough for 2024 Magic. Sure, it can maybe hit in for some damage, but it's really not enough. But the question isn't, is Ball Lightning good enough for Modern in 2024? The question is, what if we put every single Ball Lightning into play at the same turn? Is that going to be good enough for 2024 Modern? So the core of our deck is 4 Ball Lightnings, 4 Groundbreakers, which is the green Ball Lightning, and then 4 Lightning Skelementals, which is Modern Horizons 3 version of Ball Lightning. All the cards are essentially the same. 3 mana 6/1 trample hasters. So the idea of our deck is to build our deck in a way and set up a situation where when we cast any one of these cards, a single Ball Lightning, the end result will be putting all of our Ball Lightnings into play from our deck on that same turn thanks to Monstrous Vortex. So Monstrous Vortex, this new Modern Horizons 3 enchantment, it is 4 mana and it says when you cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, like any of our Ball Lightnings, you discover X where X is the spell's mana value. In this case, it'll be 3. So the idea is we play Monstrous Vortex, we cast any of our Ball Lightnings, doesn't matter which one, it'll trigger our Monstrous Vortex to discover 3. The only cards in our deck that are 3 mana or less are more Ball Lightning, so we know we're going to discover into another Ball Lightning, and that will trigger Monstrous Vortex because we cast it with Discover, and then we'll be able to discover again, hit another Ball Lightning. We do this until we put every single Ball Lightning into play in the same turn, and then we just attack with this hilariously janky board of 6/1s, smash our opponent for like, I don't even know, 80 damage or something, and win the game on the spot. So that's the plan of the deck. The cost of this plan, as I mentioned before, is we can't play any non-Ball Lightning cards that cost less than 4 mana. So we're trying to get around this restriction with removal like Bedeck Bedazzle, Trumpeting Carnosaur, Leyline Binding, which technically has a really high mana value, but we can use for 1 or 2 or 3 mana to help stay alive until we get our Monstrous Vortex into play. And then we also have Sign of Draco in Leyline of the Guildpact. Leyline of the Guildpact fixes our mana. Sign of Draco, once we have Leyline, kind of just a free roll, is a 2 mana 4/4 that powers up our Ball Lightnings even more. The other big challenge of the deck is the mana. It turns out casting a triple red 3-drop and a triple green 3-drop in the same deck can be kind of tricky. Hopefully we just have the Leyline of the Guildpact and we don't got to worry about it. Otherwise, we get a bunch of fetches and triumphs and shocks to try to make the mana work. In the sideboard, we have the same restriction. We can't play anything that costs less than 4 mana. So we have Force of Vigor to deal with artifacts and enchantments, Mindbreak Trap, Mirror Shell Crab as counterspells, Shark Typhoon to make a big shark, Virtual Persistence for more removal, and that is Hoops All Ball Lightnings or Monstrous Balls for Modern. And that's our deck for today. So let's jump into some games and see if we can actually put all 12 Ball Lightnings into play on the same turn by just casting one of them with Monstrous Vortex. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some Magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Against the odds time, we are trying to put all the Ball Lightnings into play at once with Monstrous Vortex. What are the odds? That is the question. It doesn't have a Monstrous Vortex. It's got some removals. It does have a Skelemental. I mean, I guess we keep it? I don't think we can just mulligan until we hit Monstrous Vortex, sadly. Steam Vents, untapped and passes. Well, we will play an Arid Mesa. Pass the turn. Opponent. And Coiling Oracle. Alright, so opponent's playing Nadu combo. Well, crack the Arid Mesa. Get a Xander's Lounge. And hits a Planar Genesis. Well, there's the Monstrous Vortex. Should we manage to survive? Well, play the Arid Mesa. So we gotta make sure we can cast a Ball Lightning. So let's crack Arid Mesa. Yeah, get a Sacred Foundry. Untapped. Opponent untaps. Nadu is pretty busted. I don't think they can win this turn necessarily. Opponent, gonna go attacking. Hits us. Down to 15. Stomping Grounds untapped and passes. Well, Windswept Heath. Let's crack Windswept Heath. Stomping Grounds. Untapped. And we'll just play the Sign of Draco. Pass the turn. So we need one more land for the Vortex. Planar Genesis. We also need to not get combo killed, which is not a given. Oh, the challenge. Monstrous Vortex, it's got a bit of the Panharmonicon problem, right? Like, we need to... we need to find a turn where we can put it on the battlefield without dying, which is not necessarily that easy. Opponent, gonna mill a lightning bolt. Plays a 1 ring. Gets protection from everything. Well, unfortunately, we have to Leyline Binding. Our opponent is gonna get to draw a card. But we need to do this because if we draw a land, we need the ability to play the Monstrous Vortex next turn. And we can't just let the 1 ring draw 3. Come on, deck, land. All right, Wooded Foothills. Well, I mean, there is a real risk that we just die. That is a real risk. But we get to play Monstrous Vortex. If we don't just die, next turn, we get to do the thing, Monstrous Vortex. Stay on defense. All right, let's just, no Nadus. No Nadus, no combos, no enchantment removal. Come on. We're so close. We're so close to seeing all the ball lightnings. Force of Cultivation, gonna do some ramping. Gets a couple of lands, a couple of forests. Plays a land, 4 cards in hand. Scape 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Scape Shift 4. Okay, so we died of Valakuts, I guess. Man, we were so close. An opponent gets enough triggers and we die. Okay. Oh, golly gee. Okay, so Mindbreak traps in. Run it like that. This deck gets a Heartbreaker. I just want to see it happen once. I want to say, oh, I wish this was 3 mana, but if it was 3 mana, it would probably be an actual, like, good card. Maybe a busted card if it was 3 mana. If there's one thing we know, it's that cascading is a potentially busted mechanic, right? We've seen that time and time again. So you got to go conservative with it, but at 4 mana, it does make the Against the Odds plan a lot more challenging. We don't have our combo, but I guess we have a Leyline of the Guild Pact and a Scion of the Draco, and we can just cast a Skelemental. Well, we'll start with a Leyline of the Guild Pact. Jetmir's Garden, go. Stomping Grounds, tapped, passes. Well, there's a Groundbreaker. Well, untap land, and man, we really need a land for next turn. Scion of Draco, go. Land. Even just like hard casting two of these ball lightnings would do a lot of work here. So we just need any untap land for next turn. Misty Rainforest cracks it. Grabs an island. All right, deck. Land. Untap land. All right, Stomping Grounds is an untap land. Lightning Skelemental. Hit you for 10. Make you discard. Okay, that was a good ball lightning. Opponent's got to discard 2. They could have a 1 ring. They discard 2 lands. All right, discard the sacrifice this Skelemental. I mean, technically Groundbreaker is lethal if we can just resolve it. Coiling Oracle. It's a 1 ring. Can't cast it yet, though. Stomping Grounds untapped down to 7. And Coiling Oracle. This should be lethal, right? This should be lethal. Play the land. We got a ball lightning for that. Land. Groundbreaker. Combat. Smack ya. All the Coiling Oracles in the world. Not enough to stop the mighty golden Groundbreaker. Well, we didn't get to put all the ball lightnings into play, but we did get to do ball lightning things. I mean, apparently, Leyline of the Guild Pact, Scion of Draco into ball lightnings is actually a fast clock, right? Like turn 3 hit for 10, turn 4 hit for 10. That's actually kind of good. Not as flashy as the Monstrous Vortex kill, which is what we really want to see, is just all 12 ball lightnings in one hilarious turn. That's what we want to see. We'll see it eventually, right? We gotta make it happen eventually. We're on the draw, which scares me a lot, but we technically have the combo should we live long enough to pull it off. Arid Mesa, go. Valakut, and passing. Well, cracked Arid Mesa. So let's get the Xander's Lounge. Wooded Foothills, go. So I guess we can just Skelemental next turn. We do have 2 of them. So we can Skelemental hit you, make you discard. Monstrous Vortex, Skelemental the following turn, combo, opponent, forest, and Dryad the Ilson Grove. Very, very frightening card. Well, we'll crack it. Yeah, keep grabbing Triomes. All right, opponent gets a Dryad. Extra land drop, untapped. Well, we will Play a mountain and Skelemental. Get in, hit ya. Alright, opponent's gonna bolt it. Do we live long enough? Opponent untaps. The One Ring, okay, that's not good for us. Plays another land. Oh, do we get to live 2 turns is the question. I'm not sure we do. Mills a land. Draws with the One Ring. Plays even more lands. Hits us. I mean, if they have the escape shift, we're dead for sure. And they get to keep surveilling. And they have a One Ring to draw a ton of cards. It looks like we're going to be a turn slow. Opponent surveils. Mill it. Mill it. Please don't leave it on top. If they leave it on top, then we're definitely dead, right? I don't know what you leave on top that's not going to kill us. They mill a land. Opponent gets in, hits us. We draw. Sign a Draco. Well, Wooded Foothills. Crack Wooded Foothills. Down to 10. Gotta get a shock land, unfortunately. Play Monstrous Vortex. I mean, we're going for the plan. We're all in on the plan. Monstrous Vortex, go! Is there some world where we live here? Is there some world where we live and get to see the thing? Opponent. Draws with the One Ring, of course. Valakut hits us to 7. Steam Vents hits us to 4. And Flare Cultivation for lethal. We are trying to put every ball lightning into play with Monstrous Vortex. This hand, it's got ball lightnings. I'll give it that. I mean, I guess we keep. There's no Monstrous Vortex, but it's not like we can only have hands with Monstrous Vortex, unfortunately. Opponent Arid Mesa cracks Arid Mesa. Grabs a Stomping Grounds untapped. And Abundant Harvest. Amped Raptor, Renin 6. Okay. Well, there's another ball lightning. Wooded Foothills, go. So we need triple green, triple red, and we have a Sign of Draco in hand, and a Leyline Binding. Going to be some interesting mana. Opponent, Wooded Foothills, cracks Wooded Foothills. Sacred Foundry untapped. Brush Fire Elemental. Alright, well, crack the Wooded Foothills. Jetmir's Garden. Opponent. So opponent's like a landfall deck by the looks. Hits us for 1, down to 18. We draw. Oh, there's the Vortex. Let's play the Arid Mesa. Okay. Can we live long enough? Play the Arid Mesa past the turn. Come on, hold. Oh, another Brush Fire Elemental. That's a lot of damage. And there's the Fetch Land. Yep. I mean, we'll crack the Arid Mesa. All right, so get the Xander's Lounge. We need a Leyline Binding to get rid of one of the Brush Fire Elementals. It's just too much damage. And opponent cracks, so we're taking 5. Down to 12. A Skelemental. Play Sign of Draco. Play Wooded Foothills. Pass the turn. Opponent. Okay, it's a land, but at least it's not a fetch. Attacks. I mean, I think we have to block, right? I think we block. If our opponent lightning bolts or something, then at least we got rid of the Brush Fire Elemental. All right, Harrow. Well, I mean, I'm glad we blocked because we would have been dead. Saxaland gets 2 more lands, gets a bunch of triggers. All right, well, there goes the Sign of Draco. Explores to draw a card. Crack the Wooded Foothills. Grab a Katira Triome. Sign of Draco. Well, I mean, I think we just, again, play Sign of Draco. Yeah, play the Sign of Draco. Pass the turn. We could hit with this Elemental, but our opponent would still have a card left in hand. Explores to draw a card. Akum Hellhound, sure. Ooh, this is making the Skelemental look kind of appealing. Leyline Binding. Ooh! Oh, I bet they have a Lightning Bolt. That would make a lot of sense. Lightning Skelemental. Go to combat. Come on, no bolts. No bolts. That is the weakness of the Skelemental. Oh, it got in. Okay, we go up to 17. We wrath our opponent's hand. Searing Blaze and Glyph Elemental. Okay. Back up to 17. Pyro Surfer. Sure. Passes. Land? Can we draw land? There's the Arid Mesa. Crack that. We gotta go for it. We gotta go for it. We gotta go for it. We're gonna grab a mountain. This might be the time. Play the Vortex. We're not gonna attack. We're gonna stay on defense. We are all in on blocking. And then next turn, there might be some ball lightnings. Pass the turn. Opponent says, oh no. Fetch land. Do we die? If we literally die here, I'm going to be so sad. I don't think we literally die. They do get double Battle Cry, but Battle Cry only pumps other creatures. So I think as long as we just block the Brush Fire, that this is okay. We're going to take a ton, but I think we take not quite lethal ton because they go up to 4 power, 5 power, 6 power, 12, 14. So I think we go to 2, double Battle Cry. We go to 2, but there's good news. There is good news. There's very good news. Red. We will cast a Ball Lightning. It'll trigger Monstrous Vortex because its power is 5 or greater. We will discover another Ball Lightning. We will play it. Its power is 5 or greater. We'll discover another Ball Lightning. It's a Lightning Skelemental. Its power is 5 or greater. Monstrous Vortex into a Lightning Skelemental because its power happens to be 5 or greater. Monstrous Vortex. We're doing it. Groundbreaker. It's happening. Lightning Skelemental, trigger. Into Ball Lightning, trigger. Into Groundbreaker. Oh man, so good. The jankiest beats. That's all 4 ball lightnings. We're running out, I think. That's it. That's what we got. Ball Lightning, Groundbreaker. How about a Ball Lightning? And a Skelemental? And maybe a Groundbreaker? And a Skelemental, and a Skelemental, and a Ball Lightning, and a Ball Lightning, and we'll go to combat, and here comes the 6/1s. Attack with everything. And that's what it looks like when you put all your Ball Lightnings into play. Negative 48. Sideboard-wise, I guess we can bring in the Virtues for more removal. Go down like maybe a Carnosaur. We might actually have to trim like 2 Ball Lightnings in this matchup. We just need... Our opponent's a landfall deck. We got to be able to kill the cheap landfall creatures or they will kill us before we get to Monstrous Vortex. It's not easy, but it is pretty spectacular. Well, I think we actually keep this hand. This hand is nowhere close to comboing, but it does have a lot of removal. I think is good in this matchup, hopefully. Opponent. Fetch land. Passes. Well, there's a Cyanid Rocko. That's not the worst. Wooded Foothills, go. Sacred Foundry, tapped. Opponent, Forest. And Reckless Pyrosofa gets in for 2. Let's crack this. Black Triome, down to 17. Ooh, there's a Vortex. Sacred Foundry, untapped. Do a little Virtue of Persistencing. Lock Scorn on the Pyro server. Back up to 70, bastard. All right, well, now we need a Ball Lightning. We have the Vortex. Wow, opponent's not doing anything? Opponent might have a bunch of enchantment removal in hand. That seems possible. There's a Ball Lightning. Let's Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Katira Triome. Yeah, that should be everything, right? And then we can play the Cyanid Rocko. Just get a body down. Also, Cyanid Rocko, if our opponent has something that blows up an artifact or enchantment, maybe. Yeah, okay. So that's a removal spell that's not hitting our Monstrous Vortex, at least. Opponent. Renin 6. I mean, I think we just got to put him to the test. Gets back to fetch. Plays the Wooded Foothills. Cracks the Wooded Foothills. All right. Well, let's see if they got another answer to an artifact and enchantment. Bedazzle. Well, Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Stomping Grounds, untapped, down to 11. I guess it's also possible we die. Our mana base is very, very painful. That is the downside of having triple green and triple red Ball Lightnings. And Skelemental needs black. One more. Just let us cast one Ball Lightning. That's all we ask. We just want to cast a single Ball Lightning. That's it. You're at 18, it'll be fine. Why am I suspicious that this is going to go horribly wrong in some way? Well, play a land. Ball Lightning? Wait, is this just happening? Wait, they're not stopping us? Ball Lightning into Skelemental. Oh, we got the GGs. We won by putting every Ball Lightning into play. We did it. Yes. Here they come. Monstrous Vortex into a Skelemental. Monstrous Vortex into a Ball Lightning. The worst, greatest deck of all time, I think. Groundbreaker. They keep coming. There's 12 altogether. And this is actually the full one because we have all 11 in our deck. We only drew one of them. Groundbreaker. Oh, we sideboarded out too, so it's only 10. Ball Lightning, Skelemental, Ball Lightning, Skelemental. I think we have achieved lethal. Watch our opponent have, what could they have? Rakdos Charm? Watch him Rakdos Charm us. Combat, attack, everything face. The Ball Lightning army is here to close out the game. Yes. I'm gonna put a little teaser on the social medias. Maybe this is fine. We don't really have the combo, but we can sign a Draco. We have Leyline Bindings. I think we mulligan. We came here to Ball Lightning. Oh, this only has one land. That's not nearly enough. Although it does have Leyline of the Guild Pack, and it has a Monstrous Vortex. This also only has one land. Aye! Guess we should have kept the first one. 3 cards to the bottom. Bedeck Bedazzle, Sign a Draco, Groundbreaker. All right. Not exactly the dream draw, but we do have the Monstrous Vortex. We just got to get 2 more lands, stick Monstrous Vortex to have it survive, cast something, and then look out, I guess. Windswept Teeth. So we need 2 more lands and a Ball Lightning effect. And a resolve, yeah. That is a lot of things we need, isn't it? It's a long list of things we need to go right. Opponent. Oh god, they're amuleting. Oh, alright, well, Windswept Teeth, crack it. And get a Jetmir's Gardens. Untap. Windswept Teeth. Pass the turn. Passing. Well, crack the Windswept Teeth. So opponent's gonna have double Amulet next turn. That's less than ideal. Especially since we're not really doing anything. Leyline Binding. That's actually a good draw. When our opponent goes to copy the Amulet, we can Leyline Binding it. We'll see if this is enough of a good draw, but it does help. Leyline Binding. Get rid of the Amulet. Okay. Amulet down. Not dead yet. Opponent. Expedition Map. And a bounce land. Oh, come on, lands and Ball Lightnings. Lands and Ball Lightnings, please. Opponent passes. Well, there's a Ball Lightning. Oh, Monstrous Vortex. 4 mana seems like infinite mana. So the restriction on this deck is we can't play anything except for Ball Lightnings that cost less than 3 mana. Opponent has a 1 ring. Well, that's not ideal. Opponent, 1 ring draws. Passes. Well, I mean, Leyline Binding. We are playing 24 lands, which is actually a pretty big number for a modern deck. Get rid of the 1 ring. Lightning Skelemental is the best Ball Lightning. Unfortunately, we were on a mull to 4, so I guess that explains a lot of the issues we're having here. We went hand that was okay, but didn't really do anything, into 1-lander, 1-lander. Abrial Grazer. Gonna put a Gruul Turf into play. And replays the land. So next turn they do get to get an Amulet off the Urza Saga. Well, okay, there's a Triome. Yeah, we're just gonna be too slow. We didn't hit our land number 3 until turn 6, which means we have done a good job of slowing down the Amulet Titan deck. Unfortunately, though, this is where we die. Oh, and they have a Beseiju too. Oh golly! So I get to get back the Amulet or a 1 ring. So the challenge for this deck is much like a Panharmonicon deck. We need to play the Monstrous Vortex and then untap with the Monstrous Vortex and cast something for our deck to pop off. So even though we can play Monstrous Vortex next turn, we don't win next turn. If our opponent has a Titan here, they win this turn, so none of that matters. Opponent. 3 Amulets. And Summoner's Pact, and we've seen the Primeval Titan kill so many times. There's no reason to sit through the inevitable Primeval Titan win. We don't really have much for this. I guess we could bring in Force of Vigors over Carnosaurs, or maybe over the Bedeck Bedazzled. There's no way we're getting a 6 mana for him. All right, let's have a little smoother hand. Let's have a little bit smoother. So we need the Monstrous Vortex, and then we need to cast a Ball Lightning. That's all we need to do. That's the dream with this deck. Can we live the dream? I feel like we'll see. This might be one of those old school against odds where we do a lot of losing until we eventually do the cool thing. We start with a Leyline of the Guild Pact, which maybe is scary enough to make our opponent Beseiju it. Windswept Heath go. 2 more lands, Monstrous Vortex, have it live. Opponent Forest, and Amulet, of course. Passing. Well, we don't have to crack our fetches. Okay, Blood Crypt, tapped. Pass the turn. That's land number 3. Do we live long enough? Bounce land. Oh boy. Yeah. Classic Amulet Titan start. Bounce land, win the amulet, make some mana, dry to the Ilson Grove, replays the Bounce land, make some mana. Oh, Arboreal Grazer, okay. To replay the Bounce land and make some mana. I guess we could run out the Skelemental next turn to make our opponent discard a couple cards. Opponent makes some mana and plays a One Ring. Okay, that's turn 2 One Ring. Pretty good. And draws some cards. Pass in. Well, there's another land. Wooded Foothills, go. Okay, yeah. But our opponent has a One Ring and an Amulet, and we know they got a Bounce land, so I think we're probably dead. Yeah, Amulet Titan's pretty fast. So we're kind of a turn 5 kill deck. We'll see if that's fast enough in 2024 Modern. Opponent, Valakut untaps it. All right, opponent's gonna wait. Setting up for the kill next turn. Well, let's crack a Windswept Teeth. We might as well do some deck thinning, I guess. I think if they're gonna win, they're gonna win. We'll deck thin 1, untap. Opponent discards to hand size. Crumbling Vestige. Well, play the land. I mean, we came here to do a thing, and we're gonna do that thing. Monstrous Vortex. Pass the turn. All right, just don't kill us for a turn, opponent. Yeah, just one turn. That's all we want, is one turn. One turn so we can do the cool thing. Also, don't play another One Ring. That would be very depressing. Opponent draws up to 11 cards in hand. Opponent, there's the Bounce land. Untaps it. Floats some mana. Picks it up. And, all right. I mean, now we can do the thing, but the thing doesn't matter because our opponent has protection from everything. Passes. Oh, so we can put we can put every Ball Lightning into play. It just doesn't matter though. So I don't think we even bother to do it. Like, we could do it just to be like, haha, like this is a thing our deck can do. In reality, that doesn't do anything. We'll cast a Scion, play a Stomping Grounds tapped, pass the turn. There is no way we survive this turn. There is no way. Opponent gets to draw 5 cards this turn with the One Ring and their draw step, 12 cards in hand. Yeah, this is a magic card. Oh, now they get 2 amulets? Okay, so now we're definitely dead. There's the second amulet. Now there's the Summoner's Pact. Gets a Arboreal Grazer. I'm gonna put an Arboreal Grazer into play and play some lands. Oh, the One Ring. The One Ring, the crusher of every cool dream. We actually had it too. Our opponent just has protection from everything, so having it doesn't matter. Opponent taps, untaps, taps, untaps, picks it back up. Still has another land drop for the turn. Plays a Dry to the Ilson Grove, so now their Valakuts do things, yeah. So opponent gets to do Primeval Titan things. Pretty sure we're just dead here. So opponent makes a bunch of mana, picks up their Bounce land. That second One Ring, we almost managed to do it. We did it. Our opponent had a One Ring. Well, our opponent, another Summoner's Pact. They're definitely going for, okay, plays another Arboreal Grazer. I feel like our opponent's kind of just memeing here, and they like know they can win the game, but instead they're just kind of like having fun. Opponent makes a bunch more mana. Now they will play a Cultivator Colossus and put all the lands into play. They all untap. Yeah, sure, fair enough. Against the odds time, we are gonna mull a 0-lander. We're trying to put all the Ball Lightnings into play. Ooh, okay. I mean, we're gonna keep this. If we live and our opponent doesn't interact with us until turn 5, look out, the Ball Lightnings are coming. See what our opponent's up to. Don't Thoughtseize us. None of that. Well, that is not the... Well, okay. Dream dead. You should have to lose 4 life, I think, if you're playing the Theros Thoughtseize. Should be old border. I guess the Lorwyn gets a pass too, because it's original, but about it. Just take the Vortex. You know you're taking the Vortex. There's no way you're taking the Ball Lightning. No one ever takes the Ball Lightning. Yes, okay, yeah, you did it. We're gonna slam some Ball Lightnings at your face. That is gonna happen. We will take a Jetmir's Gardens. Well, now we just need to draw another Monstrous Vortex. We'll play a Wooded Foothills, pass the turn. Ball Lightnings without the Monstrous Vortex. I don't know how useful they actually are. And gonna pass. Well, thin the deck, Wooded Foothills. The good news is, if we draw another Monstrous Vortex, this mono black deck, I don't think can easily get rid of it. Trumpeting Carnosaur. Well, Arid Mesa. I don't think we're going to run the Ball Lightning out there just to try to hit for 3. We might need it to assassinate a Planeswalker at some point. Well, crack the Arid Mesa. We're going to keep grabbing Triomes, I think. Red, red, red. Actually, should we just start taking Stomping Grounds? Everything's black already from the Urborg. We have white. Yeah, let's just start taking Stomping Grounds. So we can cast all of our Ball Lightnings. Well, even more Stomping Grounds. I mean, at some point, I guess we can cast this Carnosaur. Man, if we had that Monstrous Vortex, life would be so sweet. Opponent, gonna cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm to get more Schwamps. Plays a Swamp. Suspends Profane Tutor. Awkward. Come on, Vortex. Sacred Foundry. Okay. Wow, we're drawing a lot of lands here. Stomping Grounds, go. We're drawing all the lands. Opponent taking down the Profane Tutor. Once I get the Profane Tutor, things become very sad for us. Opponent passes. No. Changes their mind. Plays a Karn. Takes down the Karn. Gets a 1 ring. We draw Bedeck Bedazzle. This is an interesting scenario. I want to play the Carnosaur. Yeah, I think we Carnosaur because our odds of spinning into a Ball Lightning are pretty high anyway. The other option is just Ball Lightning the Karn, but the most likely hit off Carnosaur is going to be a Ball Lightning that can kill the Karn anyway. So we might as well Carnosaur. Discover 5 into a Lightning Skelemental. Well, sadly, we're going to waste its ability because killing the Karn, I think, is more important than making our opponent discard 2 here. So kill the Karn. Lose the Lightning Skelemental. The cool thing is we are getting to the point where we could draw the Monstrous Vortex and play the Ball Lightning in the same turn, which is an upside. I assume takes Cabal Coffers. Yeah, plays Cabal Coffers. They can play a 1 ring. Hilariously, we can Bedeck Bedazzle the Coffers. There's a 1 ring. Opponent gonna start drawing cards. Leyline Binding would be good. Skelemental. Destroy target non-basic land. It deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Apparently we can't cast it with the 1 ring out, which is kind of wild. We'll stop on our opponent's upkeep. I guess we should play the Sacred Foundry. Thankfully it isn't instant, so we can still play it. So play the Sacred Foundry. Pass the turn to our opponent's upkeep. Now that the protection wears off, I did not expect we'd be using this mode, but we're not going to complain. It's actually good against Coffers here. So we will Bedazzle this Cabal Coffers and hit you for 2. I'm sure our opponent did not see this one coming. 6 mana land destruction. It is an instant though, which I guess is oddly irrelevant against the 1 ring of all things. Opponent's going to draw some cards in response. Might be like March of Wretched Sorrow on the Carnosaur. That would make sense. Yeah, so opponent's going to exile a bunch of cards. They're just going to gain a ton of life here. Yep, so Carnosaur down. Opponent goes up to 24. We get rid of the Coffers for now. Opponent takes a couple from the 1 ring. Come on, Magic Gods. Monstrous Vortex. Skelemental looks kind of sad against the 1 ring, honestly. Like, even casting is just like, oh, it doesn't feel good. Vortex, Bedeck Bedazzle. Okay, so I guess we pass the turn? We could blow up the Urborg, but I don't even know if it's worth blowing up the Urborg. Takes 2, down to 18. Draws with the 1 ring. You know they're going to find another 1 ring. Well, they find another Coffers. Well, okay, we will once again blow up your Coffers. They can make mana in response. Yeah, the 1 ring's a pretty strong magic card. Opponent, gonna take your Lightning Skelemental, I'm sure. Well, that's the power of just having infinite cards. I feel like this could be a good matchup for us if we can dodge the Thought Seizes on the Vortex. Just because they can't really interact with the Vortex, and they're not going to stop a whole board full of Ball Lightnings. So I feel like it's a matchup where we actually have a shot to do the thing, but we got to dodge the Thought Seizes. Hey, guess what? Even more 1 rings. Who would have thought? Who would have thought there'd be so many of them? For a card named the 1 ring, there's certainly a lot of copies of it. Opponent, Orcish Bowmasters, bangs this. We draw even more lands. Well, play the land and pass the turn. Draws with the 1 ring. And untaps, takes the damage. We've blown up 2 Coffers too, but our opponents they've drawn almost half their deck now, so they're very good at finding them thanks to the 1 ring. Urza's Cave, so that can find a Cabal Coffers. We're running out of Bedeck Bedazzles. Opponent, down to 14. You know what a good draw would be? Monstrous Vortex would be a good draw. That would be pretty sweet. Well, let's keep thinning the deck. Crack the wooded foothills. Grab a Stomping Grounds. Come on, deck. One time Vortex. 3 out of 41. Right off the top. Once I get the third coffers, it's going to be bad news. I guess third Bedeck Bedazzle would be all right, just to like stop the coffers, but they're just going to draw the fourth. Scion of Draco. I mean, I guess we play it, I guess. It doesn't do anything, but we'll play it. Opponent, I'm going to get the coffers. Yeah, we did a good job. Like, so you can kind of deal with infinite cards if your opponent doesn't have infinite mana. You can kind of deal with infinite mana if your opponent doesn't have infinite cards. We did a good job for a while keeping our opponent off the infinite mana. Now, though, they have managed to get infinite cards and infinite mana, which means probably about done for here. Opponent. Consuming Corruption to kill the Scion of Draco and a Karn the Great Creator. And a Thoughtseize. I think it's actually just game now. Well, we fought the good fight. We didn't win because the One Ring drawing twice as many cards as we do is just very, very, very difficult to beat. But we gave it a good go. Opponent, Karn, taken down. Gets a Sundering Titan. And we draw Monstrous Vortex for the Rubbins? No. All right. Well, yeah, with the Sundering Titan coming, there's no reason to continue this one. If we could have just dodged that Thoughtseize. All right, we need the Monstrous Vortex. I mean, that's a risk of playing a deck that's so heavily built around a single card, right? Like, when we find the single card and resolve it and get to do our thing, it's amazing. But when we don't find the single card, then we draw a lot of Ball Lightnings, which are as cool and iconic as Ball Lightning is. It's not exactly a One Ring. This hand, I mean, I guess we keep it. Like, we have the Leyline in the Guild Pact. We don't have a Scion to go with it, but we do have a Leyline. Stomping Grounds tapped. Pass the turn. Urborg. And passes. Katira Triome. Yeah, I think we play this Triome. We can cycle future ones. Opponent untaps. There's the coffers, and they got the Urborg to go with it, unfortunately. Another Leyline of the Guild Pact. Is it worth trying to Skelemental? The odds seem so slim of it working. Let's just play a Stomping Grounds tapped, pass the turn. Field of Ruin, and passes. How about a Monstrous Vortex? A Triome. Well, we'll play the Windswept Teeth and pass the turn. I'm gonna blow up a Triome. We will 1, 2, 3. Cycle a Triome. Into even more lands. We do have one basic we can get. Grab our Mountain. Although future Field of Ruins are going to be worse for us. Well, I mean, we're kind of flooding into Bedazzle again. Found it. Urza's Cave. Can get even more coffers. Plays a One Ring. Hooray. Lightning Skelemental. Well, we'll play another land and pass the turn. Vortex! We need a Vortex. Oh, this is where it's so depressing. Just seeing the One Ring, like, draw 3 cards this turn, draw 4 cards this turn, double coffers. Yeah, this one might end pretty quickly. Now, this time our opponent has really unlimited cards and really unlimited mana. Well, we draw a Leyline Binding, which a Leyline Binding, it can try to answer One Ring. Look at us go. So it was only 4 mana, draw what? 4 mana, draw 3 and give them protection for a relevant turn. Still pretty busted. Even being answered after 2 turns, you're just so incredibly far behind. Found it. Gonna make infinite mana here. Or perhaps 9. Stack does get pretty greedy with its Urborg's Outrageous Robbery. Well, all right, so opponent gonna steal a bunch of Ball Lightnings. Well, I think we're just gonna die to Ball Lightnings here. Well, this game we just never found a Vortex. Opponent. More swamps. 12 mana or so here. Trumpeting Carnosaur from our deck. Spins into a Karn the Great Creator. Oh, jeez. All right. This isn't really an early scoop because we can't draw a Vortex and also play the Vortex and play a Ball Lightning next turn. So there's no way we can actually win from here. We're gonna mulligan this one. We're trying to put all the Ball Lightnings into play with Monstrous Vortex. This one we'll keep. We'll put a Scion of Draco to the bottom. Yeah, we'll see. We have a Ball Lightning. We have a Monstrous Vortex. Do we live long enough and do we get disrupted? Opponent, Spire Bluff Canal. Tameo, Inquisitive Student. Okay. We draw another Ball Lightning. Well, we'll play a Stomping Grounds tapped. Opponent. Gonna get in with the Tamiyo. Make a clue. Sure. Opponent passes. Well, play the Wooded Foothills. Pass the turn. We can kill the Tamiyo with the Carnosaur, which I think is what we have to do. So let's crack the Wooded Foothills. Grab a Blood Crypt untapped. Pitch the Carnosaur. The challenge of this one's going to be counter spells, stopping us from playing our Vortex. Passes. I don't think we can go for it. The odds are just too low against this deck. So I think what we do is just play a Skelemental. See if we can get some interaction out of our opponent's hand. Go to combat, attack ya. Opponent. Lightning bolts the Skelemental. Well, play the Wooded Foothills. Crack the Wooded Foothills. Grab a Jetmir's Gardens. Pass the turn. Well, I mean, next turn we can just slam it. Against a deck like this, though, they have so many counters. Maybe they just don't know that Monstrous Vortex can do things, so they're not scared of it. Scalding Tarn, opponent, gonna pass, leaving up infinite mana. Well, okay. Having two Monstrous Vortexes makes it a little easier to play one. All right, show us the counter. Monstrous Vortex. Opponent gonna crack the Scalding Tarn. Well, they actually playing Cryptic Command. I guess I could see that with Tamiyo. I guess that's technically says draw a card on it, so if you're, oh, they're just gonna crack it and then counterspell. Cracks the clue to draw another card. Untaps. Preordains. Well, I mean, I guess we just start playing and attacking with Ball Lightnings. I don't know what else. Like, casting the Monstrous Vortex, it will get countered here. Well, get in with the Ball Lightning. Lightning Bolt number 2. We need our opponent to tap out, which I don't expect to happen. Opponent Expressive Iteration to draw some more counter spells. How is this deck realistically flipping Tamiyo early in the game, though? This doesn't even draw cards. I guess maybe they're just not. I don't know. I'm not sold on Tamiyo being very good if you can't flip it regularly early in the game. If you're flipping it like turn 7 or something, is that even good? I don't think it's even good. I mean, I guess the clue is kind of nice, even though it doesn't deal damage, but opponent, Dragon Rage Channeler, gonna play it. Still leaving up their counter spell. Gets a 3/3. I mean, we're probably just gonna slam the Vortex, I guess. I don't know, like, what else can we really do? Our opponent's clearly shown they're not gonna tap out. I mean, we can play another Ball Lightning, but does it even do anything? They're not gonna counter it. Like, are we gonna get a better window at some point in the future? Does hitting for 6 even matter? They're always gonna leave the mana up. That's kind of the whole point of their deck. Well, let's Groundbreaker. We'll keep trying to wait. We can wait one more turn. Opponent does not counter it. We will go to combat. Unholy Heat and Surveils. And leaves it on top, which you never want to see when your opponent surveils. Well, opponent untaps. Polluted Delta. Ledger Shredder. And Mishra's Bauble. I mean, opponent's technically down to 2 cards in hand. I think we're at we're also about to die, right? Like, we're going to hit for 5 next turn. We're going to hit for 3 this turn for sure. Cracks a Bauble, takes a peek. Shuffles away. So I think we got to just slam it. Like, slam it. If they counter it, they counter it. And that's pretty much the game. But I think we got to just try. Because we're just running out of time, right? We're going to be dead in 2-ish turns. Yeah, I mean, YOLO. Come on, Magic Gods. What, one time? Monstrous Vortex? Yep. And Surveils. We gave it a good shot. Well, playing the tap land, pass the turn. Opponent. Is there any realistic way we can win from here? I don't really think so. Yeah, it seems like a tough matchup because of the counters. We don't really have one of the downsides of the jank level, Expressive Iteration. One of the downsides of the jank level of the deck is just, like, because we can't play anything that costs less than 4 mana except for Ball Lightnings, it's not like we can really play a Thoughtseize or a counterspell, like a realistic counterspell. There's just not a lot of options as far as protecting the Monstrous Vortex. Definitely a drawback, I would say. Opponent, casting lots of spells, doing lots of things, cracking a Mishra's Bauble, gets in for 6. All right, Magic Gods. I don't think there's a card in our deck, though, like, that matters. Definitely not a Stomping Grounds. All right. Well, on to sideboarding. What could we possibly have that would matter here? Do we even change anything? Like, we can bring in Mirror Shell Crab. The problem is, for defending Monstrous Vortex, you got to get to 7 mana, which is just, modern games don't go to 7 mana unless you're playing Tron or something. So it's not very realistic to actually like, oh, I'm going to use it to protect my Monstrous Vortex. I guess Shark Typhoon we can cycle? We can try to cycle and make like an uncounterable threat? I don't know if that, well, we'll try it. Let's run it back. But yeah, counterspell matchups seem like tough ones. Actually, this is one of those decks where everything seems like a tough one, but when it works, it's so cool. Well, we will mulligan. Mulligan that one. Well, this hand, 1 lander. We have a ley line. We got a million ball lightnings and the vortex. We just can't cast anything. Yeah, I guess we got a mulligan again. Couple of lands to the bottom, and Arid Mesa, go. Spire Bluff Canal, and passing. Crack the Arid Mesa. We also, if our opponent ever plays a Blood Moon, we do not ever beat a Blood Moon. We will grab a Xander's Lounge, untap. Wooded Foothills go. I mean, we have the Monstrous Vortex. How do we need Cavern of Souls for Vortexes. Found it, Spire Bluff Canal. Cavern of Souls for enchantments. Crack the Wooded Foothills. Jamir's Gardens. Untap. Well, there's a ball lightning. Play a... How much does our Cyan cost now? It costs 2. I mean, we might as well play it. Maybe it draws some interaction out of our opponent's hand. All right, there's counter number 1. Tap land go. I mean, the one bit of good news is, if we somehow resolve the Vortex, we don't actually have to resolve the ball lightnings. They can counter those all they want. Are they gonna... Oh, they were thinking about it. Are they gonna tap out here? They're gonna play a Dragon Rage Channeler. Oh, but they still have the land. All right. Ooh, another Dragon Rage Channeler. Wait. Is there hope? Is there actually hope here? Oh, if they have a Spell Pierce, I'm gonna weep. I'm gonna literally weep. Stomping Grounds. Untapped. Come on. No Spell Pierce. We know you got a million. Oh, they could have Force of Negation too. I guess there's a lot of things they could have. Monstrous Vortex? It resolved. Okay. No bounce spells or anything. Opponent cracks. Tapped. Oh my goodness. There's a chance. There's a chance. Preordain. Okay, that doesn't ruin our day. We need to just survive and keep this on the battlefield till we get the ball lightning. That's all we need, and we will win. There's no way they're going to stop it once we cast the first ball lightning. There's no way. They could have Mindbreak Trap, but who plays that? Oh, if we get Mindbreak Trap, I guess that's actually... that might be more hilarious than just winning, actually. Is it happening? All right, it's happening. So, Lightning Skelemental. Trigger Monstrous Vortex. Get a Ball Lightning. Trigger Monstrous Vortex. Lightning Skelemental. Counter our Vortex, will you, opponent? How about another Lightning Skelemental? How do you like us now, Dragon Rage Channelers? We gotta talk smack the 20% of the time that we get them. Groundbreaker. Ball Lightning. And opponent scoops it up. Wow. Okay. Well, miracles happen. Monstrous miracles. All right, we're good. We just got to win this one on the draw, and we're good. I can't believe we actually won a match or a game against that deck, though. It seems like if you just sit on a counter spell. So how can this deck win? Monstrous Vortex combo, obviously. There are games where we just leyline in the Guild Pack Cyan at Draco. I think that could win. I could imagine a world where we just cast enough ball lightnings to win. I don't know if that's like super easy, but it seems possible. Well, we get the leyline on the Guild Pack start, so our mana is going to be good, and our leyline binding is going to work. Opponent Misty Rainforest. Untap down to 17. All right, 3 ball lightning hits. Dragon Rage Channeler passes. Well, let's just Windswept Teeth. And do we want to exile the DRC? We actually kind of might. Yeah, you know what? I think we just do it. This might be way too greedy, but Leyline Binding. Get rid of the DRC. Pass the turn. Opponent. Preordain. Okay, that's good. Opponent's not adding anything to the board, at least with that mana. Spire Bluff Canal. And Dragon Rage Channeler number 2. Stomping Grounds, tapped. I mean, this might actually just be the hard cast the ball lightning game and hope for the best. Expressive iteration. All right, gonna do some surveilling and some digging. Leaves it on top. So opponent's at 17. Our ball lightning's hit for 6. 3 ball lightning attacks. Opponent, Unholy Heat exiled. Gets in for 1. Ooh, Bedazzle. Should we kill... We should probably just kill the DRC, right? We could ball lightning, but then they bolt it and they surveil. Yeah, let's play the Xander's Lounge. Pass the turn. When our opponent cracks the fetch, we'll just get rid of the DRC. Bedeck the DRC. This also gives us enough mana that if we draw a Vortex, we can actually play it. So DRC down. Well, go ball lightnings. Pound it. Grabs a Surveil land. Ooh, mills a lightning bolt. Interesting. I think that means they probably have at least 1 in hand. Opponent island. Passing. We draw. Leyline of the Guildpact Bowl, play the Windswept Teeth, and red. We're gonna lead on the ball lightning. I definitely expect the first ball lightning at least to die. Stern Scolding, okay. Well, we will pass the turn. Opponent's at 3 cards in hand. Opponent untaps. Steam Vents. Passes. We draw Mountain. Well, play the Mountain. Ball lightning. Takes it down to 10. Okay. Pass the turn. 2 more. 2 more ball lightning hits. 2 more. Land. Passing. Well, let's do some deck thinning here. Crack the Windswept Teeth. Overgrown Tomb tapped. Crack the Windswept Teeth. Grab a Sacred Foundry tapped. Skelemental. Well, we're just gonna keep guessing ball lightnings. Ball lightning. Lightning skelemental. This one, if our opponent can answer it, they're going to, because it makes them discard. Go attacking. You got a bolt. You got a heat. All right, there's the lightning bolt. Kills the skelemental. We will pass the turn. I'm so worried they're gonna draw like some card draw that just suddenly gives them a bunch of velocity. Arid Mesa. Well, we will. Lightning Skelemental. This is our last one in hand, unfortunately. Too bad we didn't draw a Cyanid Rocko this game. Maybe our opponent has a counter spell. That would make sense why they're thinking about this. Invert Polarity. Okay, so they do have a counter. Opponent wins a flip. Although it doesn't do, well, it keeps us from hitting our opponent, of course, but they're not going to get to hit us because it still has to sacrifice. All right, well, opponent has done a good job of stopping our ball lightnings and thinks and passes. Well, we're going to keep thinning the deck. Cracking Arid Mesa. Grab a Stomping Grounds tapped. Come on, deck, come on. Shark Typhoon, that is interesting. We will pass the turn. Our Seiki sideboard tech might actually pay off here. So it's not big enough to get around an Unholy Heat, but it is big enough to get around a Lightning Bolt. Well, Shark Typhoon, cycle it. All right, well, we will cycle Shark Typhoon, make a 4/4, and draw a card. Ooh, Bedazzle, okay. There's a Cyanid Rocko too. I think we attack before combat and see what our opponent does. Okay, Slink into Super, so opponent's gonna bounce the Shark. MDFC power. Cyanid Rocko. Oh no, they have another counter? Oh, this deck's playing so many counters, all right. Another counter spell. Opponent untaps. And plays a land. 2 cards in hand. Man, this has become a grind. Come on, deck. Trumpeting Carnosaur. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do they have even more counters? 5, 6. Trumpeting Carnosaur. Resolves. Oh, I was not expecting that. Into a Monstrous Vortex. Okay. We don't have a ball lightning. Now we just need to draw ball lightning. Oh my goodness. Pass the turn. Hold. We got down a Vortex. Wait, is there a chance that we're going to beat this deck? Can you kill oh, they got the Unholy Heat. Okay. 1 card in hand. All we need is a ball lightning. All we need is, we've spent many of them, but if we can draw one, opponent, land. Come on, deck. Ball lightning off the top. Any one of them. We don't care. Groundbreaker! Yes! Oh my goodness, we're gonna beat the control deck. Oh my god, we're gonna do it. Groundbreaker? Trigger Monstrous Vortex? Do we beat the control deck? And opponent scoops it up! We did it! And after all the ups and downs and backs and forths, we finished with a 2-3, which, considering we're playing all ball lightnings and our curve starts at 4, That is a great finish, especially considering we somehow, some way, took down the control deck at the end. I mean, they did have to draw a lot of lands there, but we just, like, I don't know, cast enough ball lightnings that eventually they ran out of ways to stop the ball lightnings, and then Carnosaur found the Vortex. Well, okay, super quick wrap up while we're here. Is this deck good? No, not in the, like, I'm going to win a GP sense or something, but winning 2 out of 5, actually not bad. I was thinking this might be, if you remember some of the super old school against odds, where it's like, we played 14 matches, we finally won 1 game. I thought it might be one of those. It turns out that the combo's really, really strong if you can execute it. There's obviously a big deck building cost to build this Ball Lightning Monstrous Vortex deck. Just by, like, looking at the deck, it's kind of obvious that there's a pretty high cost, right? Like, our curve, 3 drops, no 1 drops, no 2 drops, 3 drops, only Ball Lightnings, then 4 drops is where you actually kind of, like, start the curve. So there is a very high cost to it. However, the game plan is hilariously effective. Like, when we actually do manage to play a Vortex, play a Ball Lightning, we are 100% to win the game so far. We never actually fizzled once we got to that point. The challenges are when we don't get to do that, or the second challenge is the Panharmonicon problem of Vortex, right? Like, finding the time to take off a turn on turn 4 or later in Modern to get down this enchantment that doesn't do anything right away. That's really scary. Sometimes you try to Monstrous Vortex and you just die to your opponent, comboing off or attacking with their board. There's a lot of things that can go wrong when you spend 4 mana in Modern to not do anything right away, because it's just such a fast and powerful format. However, as we saw, when it works, it's absolutely hilarious, and, like, it's just one of the sweetest ways to win a game. Like, one of my favorite wins that we've had in a long time is just, like, cast a Ball Lightning, put 12 Ball Lightnings into play, smash it with all of them. It's so hilarious when it works. So will this deck ever be, like, truly competitive? No, I don't think it's ever going to be truly competitive. There's just too much of a deck building restriction, and it's too reliant on Monstrous Vortex. However, it is hilarious, and you will win apparently 40% of the time in our 5-game sample, which, like I said before, way better than I would have expected. I was thinking it was going to be way rougher than this, and it was going to be a much worse win percentage. So I am absolutely thrilled that we managed to win 40% of the time and go 2-3, and doubly thrilled that we actually beat a control deck, which is just, like, such a tough matchup for our Monstrous Vortex. So anyway, that is putting all the Ball Lightnings into play at once with Monstrous Vortex. That's been our Against the Odds for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.